Welcome to my Godwin Heights students. Today we're going to talk about section 7.1 on ratios and proportions. It's incredibly important that you know how to solve ratios and set up ratios and solve proportions in order to be able to successfully test your assessment for chapter 7. So first of all, I want you to know that a ratio, this word right here, is really comparing two numbers. You have to compare two numbers. So this is always going to compare two numbers. This is the key, two numbers. And so if you read carefully and you see the word ratio, know you only need two numbers that you have to set up as a fraction and reduce in simplest forms. We're also going to use this word called proportions, and this is setting two ratios equal to each other, and we are going to solve proportions by cross-multiplying. So we're going to solve proportions by cross-multiplying. We can have extended proportions. It looks like this. And another example might be you could have, for example, 9 over x equals x over 4 equals, I'm just going to say 16 over y. And we're going to have to cross multiply these. When you have something like this, you can only do two at a time. I'm going to pick the one that has the same variable. We're going to be cross multiplying. X squared equals 36, square root. In this case, x equals 6. You plug it back into the problem, and I choose to plug it in right here. And then we're going to use this one and cross multiply. So I would then have 6y is equal to 16 times 4, which is 64. I would divide by 6, and I would get y is equal to, 32 over 3. And I get my final answers. So this is what we're going to be doing in this class, is cross multiplying, solving with square roots, setting up proportions, and using scales, specifically with triangles. All right, let's go over some examples that you're going to see in your homework. So let me clear out this ink. And let's do a couple of examples. Again, you have to read very carefully. So in this case, it says a scale model of a car is 4 inches long. The actual car is 15 feet long. And look what they want. They want the ratio. This means I need two numbers only. And again, read carefully. Ratio of what? Length of the model to length of the car. So I'm going to put it in that exact order. Model to car. Model to car. So I need the length of the model, which is 4 inches, to length of the car, which is 15 feet. Now, this is my ratio of two numbers. However, I have two different units, and if you can, you want to get them to have the same unit so they can cancel out. I always pick the largest unit and convert it. I know a foot is bigger than an inch, and I also know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So a foot is bigger, so I'm going to convert that one. 12 inches equals 1 foot. So 15 times 12. And let me get my calculator, and you can get your calculators out. And 15 times 12 is equal to 180. So this is 180 inches. So I'm going to convert. Now I have 4 inches to 180 inches. Same things. But the reason why we do this is because we can cancel out the inches, and we have this number 4 to 180, which we can reduce. If you use your calculator, and you're going to type in your calculator 4, use your ABC button, 180. And if you use your ABC button, it gives you 1 over 45. So it's 1 to 45 or 1 to 45, or 1 to 45. This is the scale, the ratio of our scale model to our actual car. Alright, now we have to use our properties of proportions. You guys wrote in your theorem books properties of proportions, and hopefully you know that if you cross multiply, you will have the same results. And so what I want to always compare is the cross products. So compare the cross products. Products means multiply. So when I compare, here's what I always know. The A always has to be across from the B. And the 12 always has to be across from the 4. So when I'm trying to figure out this answer, I have to find what's going to go across from the B. Well, what's going to go across from the B is, looking at this one, it has to be the A. So my A will go right here. Looking at this cross product, what has to go across from the 12 is the 4. So my 4 will go right there. I circle it. There's your answer, 4 over A. Alright, let's solve a couple of proportions. I'm going to clear this ink. We have two different types of proportions. The basic ones that you've solved in middle school. But then we have our algebra ones that we also need to know how to solve. Two different proportions. No matter how you solve it, the process is the same. Cross multiply. Cross multiply. You're going to set up an algebra equation and solve. So we're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to first start with my variable. 5 times n, I know, is 5n. It's equal to, and I'm going to multiply 2 times 35. So 5n is equal to 70. Solving my algebra equation, n is equal to 14. And you have your answer. We're going to cross multiply this one. If you ever have an algebra equation, you must insert parentheses around your group. So when I cross multiply here, I get 3x is equal to 2 times the quantity x plus 1. You have to first distribute through these parentheses to get rid of them. So distribute means you're multiplying through these parentheses. And so I get this new problem, 3x equals 2x plus 2. And I'm going to solve my algebra equation by subtracting 2x from both sides. X equals 2. And you're done with this problem. Okay, now let's see how you set up proportions. If you know how to solve them, now you have to know how to set them up, which leads us to our next example. They will, in your word problems, give you sometimes scales to work with. And in order to solve, you're going to have to set up proportions. So this problem says 2 cities are 3.5 inches apart on a map with a scale 1 inch is equal to 50 miles. Find the actual distance. You're going to always start with your scale and write it as a fraction. Keep your units. 1 inch is matched up to 50 miles. The same way as, now we have to set up a proportion. And the key is to match your units. So we're going to set up a proportion and match your units. This is the key. Set up a proportion and match your units. So what I mean by match my units is I'm given one more number and the units are inches. So I have to make sure they match. In this case, my inches are on top of the fraction bar, so I'm going to keep my inches on top of the fraction bar. And I'm trying to find out how many miles this is in real life. So here's my proportion. We are going to cross multiply this. What I get is I get 1 inch times x miles. I ignore the labels. The labels are the units. I know my answer is going to be in miles. That's all I care about, so I'm going to work with numbers only. So 1 times x is 1x. It's equal to 3.5 times 50. So when I multiply 3.5 times 50, I get an answer of 175, and don't forget your label is miles. That is the actual distance. Okay, this is a you try these, and let's see if you understand what I just explained to you. It says for number 1, a scale model of a boat is 9 inches long. The boat's actual length is 60 feet. Find the ratio. Again, the key word is ratio. It's a comparison of two numbers. Read carefully. Length of the scale model to length of the boat. Scale model to boat. So scale model is 9 inches to boat, which is 60 feet. Don't forget, you need to convert. 12 inches is really equal to 1 foot. So I'm going to take my 60 feet and I'll multiply it by 12 inches to convert. And 60 times 12 is equal to 720 inches. So now I have 9 inches to 720 inches. The inches go away, and I use my ABC button to lower this down. 9 ABC 720 is 1 to 80. That is my final answer of the ratio. Okay, a couple more problems. Clear this ink. Solving this proportion, we're going to cross multiply. 10x is equal to 8 times 15. So 10x is equal to 120 divided by 10 on both sides gives us x equals 12. Map uses a scale. It's another scale problem. I start off by writing this as a fraction. 1 centimeter is to 20 miles. The same way as I have to set up a proportion and match my labels, match my units. What am I giving? 90 miles. Miles goes on the bottom, so I'm going to put 90 miles on the bottom. I want to know how many centimeters this is. So we're going to cross multiply by ignoring the labels. 20x is equal to 90. I'm going to divide 20 on both sides, and I get x equals 90 divided by 20 is 4.5. My label, centimeters. Final answer. And the last part of this assignment, clear my ink. It's going to be matching, just understanding your properties of proportions. So according to this, don't forget we have to match our cross products. So these are going to be my cross products. I know that across from my x always has to be 11, and across from my y always has to be 7. So my answer is 11 over 7. Looking at these cross products, according to this 7 times y is going to, right here, is going to be equal to this 11 times x. So my answer is simply 11x. And in this problem, notice what's happening is I'm taking this bottom number and adding it to the x. So I'm going to take this bottom number and add it to what's on top. 7 plus 11 is equal to 18. That's it for this particular assignment. I did not, for this time, write the assignment. I did not write the assignment at the bottom of the page. And so if you do not have your assignment page with you, let me write the assignment down for you so you know what it is. Your homework assignment for this is section 7.1. It's found on page 369, and it's numbers 12 through 20, 25, 35 through 41, 43, 59, and 60. And that's it. You guys have a great night. Look forward to seeing what kind of work you guys can do. Bye.